Ever wondered how an Amish family gets from Pennsylvania to Montana for a wedding? While most people jump in their cars, the Amish have created an entire network of travel methods that might surprise you more than you'd ever imagine. Transportation, misconceptions. Most people think the Amish are completely isolated from modern travel, stuck forever within buggy range of their homes. The truth is far more fascinating. While they refuse to own cars, the Amish have developed creative solutions that let them travel hundreds or even thousands of miles while staying true to their faith and community values. Horse limitations. A horse and buggy can only travel about 10 to 12 miles before needing rest, limiting the Amish to a 25-mile radius from home at most. At just 5–10 miles per hour, even short trips take hours. When an Amish farmer in Ohio needs to visit family in Montana or attend a funeral in Florida, the trusty horse and buggy simply won't cut it. This limitation forced them to find alternatives, hired drivers. The most common solution is the Amish taxi, hired English drivers who transport Amish families in vans and cars. These drivers charge 60 cents to $1.30 per mile plus waiting time, creating a thriving rural transportation industry. In Lancaster County alone, 99 licensed drivers serve the Amish community. Some drivers log 100,000 miles annually, taking families to medical appointments, weddings, business trips, and family visits. The Amish share phone shanties to call drivers, often keeping lists of 40 to 50 driver numbers for different needs. Train travel. Trains are hugely popular among the Amish for long-distance travel. You'll regularly see Amish families on Amtrak routes, especially heading to western states like Colorado and California on scenic routes like the Southwest Chief. Amish youth take extended train trips as part of their Rumspringa period, while families use trains to visit relatives in distant settlements. The slower pace suits their lifestyle perfectly. It's faster than a buggy, but allows time for reflection and family bonding. Some Amish even travel by train to Mexico for affordable medical care. Train stations in Amish areas often have special hitching posts for buggies dropping off passengers. Bus transportation. Greyhound buses and charter coaches provide another vital service for Amish communities. Special bus lines like Pioneer Trails run dedicated routes from Midwestern states to Pinecraft, Florida, API, a popular Amish winter vacation destination. These buses are packed with Amish families escaping cold northern winters. Charter buses work well for large groups attending weddings or funerals, allowing multiple families to split costs while traveling together. The Amish appreciate buses because they're more economical than hiring individual drivers for long trips, and the communal aspect fits their values. Many Amish bring homemade food in baskets for these journeys, turning long bus rides into social events. Some buses even make scheduled stops at Amish settlements, creating regular transportation networks between distant communities. Air travel. Surprisingly, some Amish do fly, though it's controversial within their communities. New Order Amish churches, representing about 3% of all Amish, generally permit air travel for business, emergencies, or mission work. Amish families in Montana sometimes fly to Ohio for urgent family matters, while others book flights to countries like Haiti or the Philippines for missionary work. However, most Old Order Amish view flying as too worldly and luxurious, associating it with vanity and a fast-paced lifestyle they reject. Emergency medical flights by helicopter are universally accepted when lives are at stake. One father paid $10,000 for a helicopter to airlift his injured child to a specialized hospital. The high cost of flying multiple family members also makes it impractical for most Amish families. When they do fly, they choose economy class and often purchase tickets at the last minute rather than booking online in advance. Technology adaptations. Modern Amish communities are finding creative ways to balance tradition with practical travel needs. E-bikes powered by solar panels are gaining acceptance in some areas, allowing Amish workers to travel 15 to 20 miles to jobs while staying true to their values of sustainability and self-reliance. In Oakland, Maryland, some Amish actually drive tractors into town rather than hitching up buggies, creating an unusual sight on rural roads. Phone shanties, ball buildings housing shared telephones serve as communication hubs for arranging transportation. These phones allow the Amish to call drivers, check train schedules, and coordinate travel plans without having phones in their homes. Some progressive communities even allow GPS devices in hired vehicles for safety, though the Amish themselves don't operate them. The key principle is avoiding dependency on technology while accepting it when necessary for practical reasons. They've learned to use technology as a tool without letting it control their lives, maintaining their community bonds while gaining mobility when needed. Economic impact. The Amish transportation network has created an entire economy around their travel needs. Professional Amish taxi drivers can earn $75 100 rupees daily, with some making it a full-time career. Pennsylvania requires special licensing for these drivers, with strict insurance and safety regulations to protect passengers. The industry employs hundreds of people across Amish regions, from retired individuals supplementing their income to full-time drivers operating 15-passenger vans. Drivers often develop deep friendships with their regular clients, getting invited to weddings and becoming part of extended Amish social networks. The economic ripple effects extend beyond just driving. Mechanics specialize in maintaining large passenger vans, insurance companies offer specialized policies, and even hotels benefit from Amish travelers on long journeys. Some drivers have discovered niche markets, like specializing in medical transport or long-distance moves when families relocate to new settlements. Charter bus companies have created dedicated Amish routes, while train stations in Amish areas see increased ridership. This transportation economy proves how the Amish can participate in modern commerce while maintaining their traditional values, creating mutually beneficial relationships with their English neighbors. Community coordination. Travel decisions in Amish communities require careful coordination and community approval. Families can't simply decide to take a vacation. They must consider how their choices affect relationships with neighboring districts and extended family. If one community accepts more liberal transportation methods, stricter districts might refuse to recognize them as true Amish, potentially cutting off marriages and business relationships. Church leaders and bishops heavily influence transportation rules, with some communities allowing hired drivers while others permit only emergency use. The most conservative Schwarzentruber Amish only allow hired transportation in life-threatening emergencies, forcing them to rely entirely on trains and buses for family visits to distant settlements. This restriction even prevents their carpenters from working outside buggy range, limiting business opportunities. Extended families spread across multiple states create complex travel logistics, FTSIA. A wedding in Ohio might require coordination between relatives in Pennsylvania, Indiana, and Montana, involving multiple forms of transportation and shared costs. Community fundraising often helps families afford emergency medical travel, demonstrating their mutual aid principles. Youth during Rumspringa may have more travel freedom, sometimes even obtaining driver's licenses temporarily, though they must give up cars when joining the church. These social dynamics show how individual transportation choices ripple through entire communities, affecting relationships, business, and spiritual life. Modern challenges. Today's Amish face unprecedented transportation challenges as their communities spread across the continent. Rising land prices have forced many Amish to seek affordable farmland in distant states, scattering extended families from coast to coast. This geographic dispersion creates constant pressure to travel long distances for family events, business, and religious gatherings. Climate change brings new challenges. Severe weather can disrupt transportation schedules, while rural bus and train services face budget cuts that reduce options for car-free travel. The COVID-19 pandemic particularly impacted Amish travel as many drivers stopped working and public transportation reduced services, leaving some communities temporarily isolated. Rising fuel costs directly affect higher driver rates, making travel more expensive for families already operating on tight budgets. Urban sprawl is eliminating rural train stations and bus stops that the Amish depend on, while busy highways make buggy travel increasingly dangerous. Some young Amish are questioning transportation restrictions, especially as job opportunities move further from traditional farming areas. Technology presents both opportunities and dilemmas. GPS navigation helps drivers serve remote areas safely, but cell phones and online booking systems challenge traditional communication methods. Government regulations increasingly impact Amish transportation, with some states requiring commercial licenses and inspections that raise costs and create barriers. Despite these challenges, Amish communities continue adapting their transportation methods while maintaining core values, proving their resilience in a changing world while staying true to their faith and community bonds. Driver stories. The people who drive the Amish have fascinating stories that reveal the human side of this transportation network. One Lancaster County driver describes picking up 5 Amish women for a day trip, only to discover they spoke Pennsylvania Dutch the entire ride home until one passenger told her friend that gossip is gossip, whether it's in Dutch or English. Another driver specializes in bringing Amish families home from hospitals with newborn babies, describing it as one of the greatest joys in his work. Some drivers have been airlifted themselves alongside Amish patients in medical emergencies, forming bonds that last for years. Many drivers develop deep cultural knowledge, learning about Amish customs, attending weddings as honored guests, and even helping with funeral arrangements. One retired EMT from New York City moved to Lancaster County specifically to become an Amish driver, finding the work more rewarding than his previous career. Drivers often become unofficial social workers, helping families coordinate complex travel plans, carrying messages between communities, and sometimes serving as cultural bridges between the Amish and English worlds. The most successful drivers understand that they're not just providing transportation, they're supporting a way of life that depends on maintaining connections across vast distances while preserving traditional values. These relationships demonstrate how transportation needs can create genuine friendships that transcend cultural boundaries. Seasonal patterns. Amish travel follows distinct seasonal rhythms that reflect their agricultural lifestyle and social customs. Spring and fall are the slowest times for long-distance travel, as families focus on planting and harvesting crops that sustain their communities throughout the year. Summer brings increased travel for family reunions, business trips, and youth adventures, with many young Amish taking extended train journeys to western states during their Rumspringa period. November marks the busiest travel season, when wedding season brings families together from across the country. Some communities host multiple weddings per week during peak season. Winter creates the famous migration to Pinecraft, Florida, where thousands of Amish families escape harsh northern winters in what locals call the Great Amish Migration. Special bus services run throughout the winter months, carrying families south, along with furniture, quilts, and homemade goods for the seasonal community. Christmas and New Year's create another travel surge as extended families gather for religious celebrations and year-end visits. Medical travel peaks in winter months when older family members struggle with cold weather and seek warmer climates for health reasons. These seasonal patterns create predictable business cycles for drivers, with some earning most of their annual income during peak travel months while barely working during harvest season. Understanding these rhythms helps the transportation network serve Amish communities more effectively, while respecting their agricultural priorities and traditional calendar. Youth travel. Young Amish people have unique travel experiences that shape their understanding of both their own culture and the wider world. During Rumspringa, typically beginning at age 16, some youth gain temporary freedom to travel independently, sometimes even obtaining driver's licenses and vehicles before deciding whether to join the church. Youth groups organize train trips to national parks, historical sites, and other Amish settlements, creating memories that last a lifetime while reinforcing community bonds. These journeys serve multiple purposes. They allow young people to see the world beyond their communities, while also showing them how other Amish settlements live and work. Some youth work in distant locations, traveling weekly or monthly to jobs in construction, furniture making, or market stands in major cities. Educational trips to historical sites related to Amish heritage, such as visits to Switzerland and Germany, help young people understand their cultural roots. Mission work takes some Amish youth to developing countries, where they build schools, provide medical aid, and share their practical skills with communities in need. Dating often involves travel between settlements, with young men sometimes hiring drivers to court young women from neighboring communities. The experience of traveling while young often influences later decisions about church membership and life choices. Many adult Amish credit youthful travel experiences with helping them appreciate both the wider world and their own community's values, making informed decisions about their faith and future rather than simply following tradition blindly.